Hi, this is Sameer Singh Jaini from the Digital Fifth. I think in this particular session, we will largely focus on how innovations in insurance is happening worldwide and technically what we can potentially learn from it, right? And as I went through the whole content worldwide on insurance, some very interesting aspects have come out, and some of them are really powerful. Maybe they can be adopted in the country as well. Generally, I think my perspective is that InsurTech is lacking in the ecosystem. The way you have payments and lending leading the ecosystem, and of course now wealth has also done really well. I don't think that's true, really, of the other use case, which is focused on insurance. So, be and look at the other side in terms of adoption, the depth, the usage. All of them are fairly at a I would say very low level. So I think my sense is if somebody wants to build a company in this area, I guess you would do really well because there is a lot of opportunities available in the market and across board. Also, unlike lending, which is same across board. So you look at a lending process. Once you do underwriting, so the product is same. But in the and of course the way the underwriting is done, they are largely done on the basis of, I'm talking about lending. Underwriting is done largely based on the customer revenue, the income and all of that expense and all of that. And then you look at, let's say, if specifically if the customer is buying for property, then property valuation, other things, right? So it is linked to that. But here you can have as many use cases as you want. Insurance can be taken for amazingly complicated products, right? So I think as I learned more and more, I realized this is a very different level of game. And of course, combinations are also brought to the market. I think there's also a discussion right now that there'll be composite license. So bunch of stuff happening in the market, which currently I believe um, sort of will change the market a lot in the way market operates. So what with this, I go and move to the session and sort of what I will do in next maybe an hour or so is to take you through whatever we have understood end to end about the worldwide interesting use cases which are coming up, and we'll go deep into it as we go forward. Now, what are the areas we look at? We will look at some use cases from one which is from Grab, which is from Southeast Asia, WeFox, as well as Cover Genius. So three different use cases. And embedded obviously is Grab is where it is good, but everybody is different. Grab would be an embedded one. WeFox will be where they are actually distributing in the ecosystem. And Cover Genius is where they're helping others becoming better and better. Right? So very different use cases. Then we will talk about also usage-based and parametric models as well, and what's happening there, how payouts are happening, how the claims are made, what are the gaps earlier and what it's happening now. And we'll also talk about certain insurers which are full digital now, how they work. And there was a discussion also that because many of us sitting in India are also thinking of entering into sort of Middle East market and Middle East and North Africa market, MENA market. So I thought we will bring something on insight on these two markets as well, Middle East and North America, North Africa, and figure out what's happening. So few use cases. I don't want to clutter your mind with excess amount of data and pointers, right? So idea would be to give you what is right now, and then we'll see from there, right? Uh, yeah. So with this, we move to the pointer on. And quickly, my name is Sameer Singh Jaini. I'm part of the digital firm, and we are largely focused on BFSI and digital. And I think from a market perspective, one of the largest players in the country. And we also organize a very large event called Parametric Summit. I'm sure from next month onwards, as we kick off the program, you will hear more and more about that event and all of that. But largely, we will focus in this session only on InsurTech. And of course, five leaders run this firm at this point of time, and we are growing. So we are adding more leadership teams as of now. And we're going very deep. So if you're interested in joining us, I think do let us know, and we will see if we have opportunity for you. These set of customers we have all varieties, embedded insurance, embedded finance players, banks and BFCs, large fintechs, and also a lot of VCs we are adding to the table. And we are also famous in the market for the trainings we do in the market. Again, as I said, we are always saying that we are not consultant by nature. So idea is to deliver goods, which is the impact. And therefore, we do a lot of work on thought leadership. It's all approach is all practitioner based. We do deep engagement, very deep, right? I think some of the work we are doing right now on let's say HL Lab or strategies for a lot of banks and fintechs. Or maybe right now we're doing a lot of assignments on payment system, both on POS, which is PAP, and as well as on cash management and threats and others are also on the ground. And of course, we work a lot on the network-based stuff. So we do network a lot with the market, consulting partnership and corporate training. In fact, we will have the next session by Shashank on this ecosystem, where he will talk about DPDPA and how insurance ecosystem will change to align with DPDP as well. So that's our next webinar coming up very soon, which again was a market demand for us to do some case studies or some discussions around that. We will, as I said, you will hear about this very soon. One of the largest event, which happens in February. We are again going to hold it in February alone, and let's see from there. Right now, this whole sessions on insurance are all linked to India InsurTech Summit, which is on 17th of July. I guess that's 15 days away. We're all almost in the final stages of putting up entire thing, including the agenda, including the speakers, and including all the sponsors and all that. It's going to be in Mumbai, in Aurika. We'll be happy to have you on board. So if you do give us your feedback, and you would want to join this event, do let us know. And Sakshi will send you the link for submission, and we'll send you a complimentary pass as well if you join the session. As I said, we are very keen to ensure that who's who of the country comes on these sessions, and we've tried our best to ensure that we have enough from the business side, from technology side, from CXO level, CEO level, and security level, right? So, and then there's definitely a need for insurtech companies also to join. So we've fairly a good mix of insurtech players as well as investors and insurers out there to join us on the event. I think the idea was also to share what we are going to take care. So in fact, as many of you are keen to join, that's why you're in ShortTech event. So what I thought would be a good one, we've yet to share it in public, but I thought we disclose it in this session as well. So specifically, this is how we are right now closing the agenda. That should be coming up on our website maybe today or tomorrow in the final stages. So what we will do, we'll start with a masterclass on what's happening global, very deep, very insightful. This particular session, some content is going to be there, but we're working on also on it to make it deeper and deeper. This is more interactive by nature, right? So unlike this session, which is where you can only see me, that's physical by nature. So that's in the morning. And then we'll take a session also on the funding side. So you know what PE and VCs are looking up. How do you get ready for the capital journey as well? Uh, then we'll go to DPDPA. Shashank will take the session on that day. So this is a set of master classes before formally the event gets inaugurated. Interestingly, we've seen a lot of people joining us by around 7:30, 7:45, interacting with us, meeting with us, and then of course joining our master classes. The idea is that those three master classes should give you a peek into the future. And if you're building something, that's the right time to interact. Then we'll start with a keynote session. We'll disclose the speaker very soon, but we are looking at very senior industry leader to come and join us and take this session. Idea is that in India we're talking about everybody getting insured, right? So what will the challenge? What will it take for us to have universal access? What is the role which each one of them us have a role, right? So from a policymaker side, from an ecosystem side, insurer side, and of course InsurTech side, what are the possibilities? And then finally, all the changes which we do in the ecosystem is bound to be built for making impact to the ecosystem, right? So that's something which we'll discuss on that day, really deep. Then there was a session on wild license, many possibilities, ideas to ensure that you understand what is composite license and how does it work, and what kind of, let's say, for example, when health, general, and life will all get merged into one license, how would it work? What kind of challenges you will have in the integration, technology, process, product manufacturing, right? What kind of new products will be built, and what kind of distribution channels are required in such a way, right? So there's already something exists. What happens when things change? I think then there's a lot of discussion around AI and digital. So I think the idea is that how the insurance itself will scale, speed, and sort of and sustainable. How AI can help there, right? So and then this is the session where we talk about all journeys from and all structures, right? So product development to claims, what all the possibilities, what all the journeys can be done through digital, and which can ensure that the distribution becomes much better, much cheaper, which is horrible right now. In some use cases, when we read even 35-40% of cost going inside the distribution channel. I think if we can bring it down closer to more like a 2 or 3 or 4% over a period of time, I mean, not right saying so, but over a period of time, then the business will grow because the market itself is waiting for growth, but it's not happening because the products are complicated and distribution is really messy. I think then we will get into, we have a very senior industry leader, CEO of a firm, which will be sitting on a fireside chat and sort of taking a session on how life insurance can be reinvented, uh, what kind of changes are happening, what kind of innovations are getting built in the life insurance side, and how the industry is sort of twisting. And of course, there's also a leg for this when this happens, and when you have a composite license coming up. When you have somebody selling life, and then you send health, what else can you sell, and how can you service, right? So it's a new paradigm which is going to come up in some time. There are also bigger and complicated changes. There's also a challenge with terms of our lifestyle. So we are living a longer life, but there are lot more diseases out there, lifestyle diseases, which is what is killing people, right? So how does it impact insurance? How does it impact insurance premium as such, right? So that's something which our lead in the market will share us. Then we'll be launching a report, ideas to get you a perspective on what all is happening in the insurance industry, segment by segment, journey by journey, and what is happening on the regulation side, what is happening on the process side. So that's the session which we'll take. So it's a 15-minute launch, but we'll also share the reports back to you. We'll be happy to sort of distribute as well to you over a period of time. So I think this is again a very, very critical segment and report which we are launching. Then we are launching, we're getting into a session on risk side. So risk landscape of India is changing dramatically, right? I spoke about lifestyle, how the underwriting will happen differently, and there's so much of volatility, right? If you are in a shipping industry, shipping insurance, and you see the climate today, what happens to insurance? You have a big incident which happened in the aviation industry. What is the impact you will have, right? So how the markets are twisting. And of course, there are a lot of risks with respect to gig economy, freelancers, and sort of very unstructured employment is what we see today. What's going to be insurance in that segment? And of course, then we'll come to a lot to focus on cyber risk as well. So again, segments of choices which we wanted to bring to a table. And of course, the next one is something which we want to sort of focus on, which is related to the risk management, or sorry, urban India structure. So how in urban India the insurance can be brought to every pin code. So today we have a situation that only 15 to 20 large cities capture almost, I think, 60 to 70% of the insurance, or maybe even more. And there's a discussion which I had with a senior leader industry, or actually many of them, saying that we are not able to reach beyond because of the lack of understanding and all that, right? So good news is that insurance industry has also started doing a campaign which is very similar to mutual fund. Mutual fund Sahi hai, equivalent is coming right now. So I think there will be some improvement there. But somebody has to build products which are much cheaper to manufacture and distribute. and much easier and to understand as well, right? So to be very honest, yesterday me and my daughter were having a chat. It was a good 45 minutes chat, I would have told in the previous session as well, that we are buying insurance and which is a health insurance, and we were trying to figure out which one to buy, and every line item was difficult to read. Every time it is bonus written, it's difficult to read. So I think we are trying to figure out how to do it. So how do you, if I'm finding it tough to buy, um, I think when we go to rural areas and try to sell the same product, how will it work? So that's a thought. Embedded insurance obviously is very large right now and scaling up. So how that kind of framework can work better with different ecosystem, right? So can you be inside a sort of mobility platforms, or you be inside a travel platform? So how in each frameworks you can actually do a personalized plan and kind of stuff. Then we'll come to GenAI, purely GenAI. So if you were to look at underwriting, or you look at detection and resolution issues when you find a process, or maybe even claims, how do you ensure that Gen AI has a big role there? So I think the idea is that biggest of the players and market makers will be coming here and taking the session, and they'll get into deeper on DPDPA, again a perspective, while we'll have in the morning a masterclass. It'll be good to have somebody who knows this inside out, who's running these cohorts in their companies, coming back and sharing their perspective. And then we'll get into health insurance, another area of a scale up where in industry not much has happened. And then we'll get into investment side. So a lot of big VCs, NPs will come and share. And then there's also a lot of discussion on how brokers are operating in the market, and brokers. I'm talking about large brokers who are handling insurance for corporates. What are they doing, how they're operating, and what is the impact from a tech for that as well. And then most critical part in any event would be looking at distribution at scale. So which is where bank assurance comes in, and we'll take a session with industry leaders on how bank assurance is changing the market, and then we'll get into India InsurTech Awards, and that's largely where we'll end. Of course, for all the CXOs who are joining the event, we'll have a CXO dinner as well. But that's a very close group, only for CXOs we have planned for. Uh, from an ecosystem perspective, this is how I would have said in the previous session the ecosystem looks like. You have players on the underwriting side. We have players on the sales side who are optimizing it. And then of course, there is a core platform or insurance side. Then there are a bunch of brokers, aggregators, manufacturers, third-party players, and reinsurers. So how all of them package and build journeys for you, products for you. There's also a framework of places where maybe corporate insurance is also done by players like Onsurety or Plum. We are a user of Onsurety, and we kind of like what they do. There's also a platforms framework like a Zopper or a Discovery, which can sort of work as an insurance as a service and embed themselves in the platform. And then, of course, there's a claims and policy management stuff like that. So this is how the ecosystem looks like. We are also learning more on it, and sort of embedding into the ecosystem. So you will see in the session much more of what we'll discuss on the day. Let's move to the how the market is operating and some use cases, which is the key topic of the session today. And here we will talk about maybe few use cases, and we'll be happy to take if you have some queries. And as I said, unlike lending and payments and other ecosystem where our strength is really heavy, uh, in terms of strength, specifically in the area of insurance, we are building the practice, and we are in the process of revamping and building the ecosystem for ourselves as well. So a lot of knowledge we are bringing to the table is around that. And we're also going with the thesis that for a country which is almost 145 crores Indians, we only have 61 insurance companies. And you also have to realize that very soon this number will come down, because there'll be definitely about mergers when you have composite licenses. It is possible that there'll be aggregation of companies because each one will want to launch. So you may have a larger life insurance company buying out small ones and all of that. in many cases, same group has two entities, right? So how they'll operate in the new opportunity world, we don't know. But fact of the matter is, today we have for us 61, whereas if you look at China, which has 242, if you have US 500, 5,000 insurance companies and so on and so forth. So at India level, we are fairly low on number of insurance companies. So that's one challenge that maybe we need more insurance company to scale business. There's also less competition. Look at the same framework in the payments and the lending industry. So many lenders exist. There are 8,000 plus NBFCs out there, plus rural banks, plus small finance bank, and then still the kind of coverage we have in the country is not very high. On the other side, when we keep talking about in MSME credit, there's a 34 lakh crores of credit gap. The same gap here exists here at a real large scale. So we have a penetration is very low. Awareness is very low, right? So I think sometimes we talk about the product and how it works, and you realize, oh, there's a product for that, this as well, and that as well. So I think it's a gap which we don't know. As I said, that when I am working on this area, I'm also exploring the new thought process, new ideas. I also did not look at this from a perspective that in India, where we have 61 entities, and they're likely to come down to more like a 45 odd as they optimize. We are looking at other countries which have one third of the population or one half the population, having much more insurers there. Look at Brazil with one seventh population. They have almost thousand odd companies, right? So we need to know what's possible there. Now, what our perspective, while we are not saying new insurance companies should come or should not come, but I think any addition typically helps. I'm sure many of the uh, insurtechs will also get these licenses. So hopefully, over a time, either way, they partner or they go direct. We should see more business coming up. Maybe we need more manufacturers as well. Uh, and that also coming from a startup world will be adding more innovation to the table. Uh, for everybody here, I think there's a expanding middle class which is willing to take in more insurance. The infrastructure is there. So if you look at from a UPI to Aadhaar, we can bring the onboarding journey dramatically low in many cases. And of course, there's a regulatory pressure for micro insurance and ensure that every Indian is covered by 2047. So that's a government agenda as well. The Bima Sugam and other Bima Wahak and all Bima Vistar, all those initiatives of the government are also in the same direction. Tech is yet to be used in its full scale. And I know that I had a opportunity of working with certain insurance agencies, entities, and every time I found that lacking, saying, why are they doing only this much? Can they do more? And then they realize that they really have not worked on that level of innovation. We are still working with real old stack. And that's not working out as well, right? So people are still doing follow the core framework, and where the products are really not well made. And of course, there's a need for micro insurance as well. So all of that in the same direction, saying that insurance is bound to grow. Will it beat other segments? I don't know. But if I were to put my finger only one industry, one area where the gap is huge, I'll be looking at insurance industry where the growth levels can be any if you do a better product, and the margins are significant if you play it really well. Uh, let's look at how the insurance industry has been growing within within the country as it stacks up, right? So from almost 4 lakh crore premium, we have moved to almost 10 lakh crore, which is given that period is really significant, right? So the growth levels are very positive. Within 10 years, we have grown almost two and a half times. Now, in terms of complaints received and all, I think servicing level also looks good. IRDA is also doing a great job in pushing the ecosystem and improving their products and services. Earlier, we used to hear that IRDA, for example, will approve every transaction, every time new product is built. They will come and do take it up. They had to take approval. That era is all gone. It's customers can the insurers can actually launch and then go back. There's also a sandbox where they can actually innovate and new products can come out. many of the new products in the country are coming from that journey which IRDA has taken. In terms of number of policy issued, I think again the growth is significant. So all in all, it's all positive momentum. Then of course some segments may still not be growing as well, but on a generic basis, the industry is growing at a decent pace. And if we innovate and we scale up, it should go further up. Uh, just from I think whenever I look at it, I'll always keep coming back to this insurance penetration in the country. As of now, India is way below in terms of insurance penetration. Just from a thought process perspective, it's basically what is the overall premium taken as percentage of the overall GDP. And today we are almost close to say maybe a three odd percent, right? So very low numbers here. And what I keep hearing the market as this number which should jump more close to where world is, at least that itself will change the market, right? So I think the penetration over next 3 to 5 years with digital will grow better. The way you had UPI movement, I think people are saying that Bima Sugam may be the UPI movement for insurance industry, and that will change the way market goes. There's a generic global growth, and we are growing as well. And of course, there are issues specifically, as I said, specifically insurance, where there's a bit of a challenge there. Number of policies have come down. There's also impact because microfinance has gone down, and with the reduction in microfinance, there has been impact on insurance, which goes along with that. So I think there's a degrowth right now on the life insurance side. Again, as I said, linked to uh, uh, microfinance going down, so therefore the insurance going down. So it's a linked activity. I also built few micro insurance products, so it's always a microfinance products which where the insurance was always embedded into the product as well. So how I know if the top line the sales don't happen, this product will also not go. And there's a investment as well happening in there. But again, something which we have to look at Quell for is is there too much of focus on top three companies and rest of the people don't get any money? I think that's a challenge we always had, right? So I think we are right now doing an activity or engagement with a VC where we are trying to say that how in each segment multiple entities can exist. And maybe there's space in India for 10 large fintechs in the B2C side. There's a need for maybe 50 more B2B entities as well. So I think there's a need out there. VCs have funded some, and I think some more are waiting to get funded as well. Let's look at the case of Grab, and I'm sure if I were to share the same slide maybe 10 years back, or 5 years, or maybe 5 years back, it would have looked more interesting. But look, we are all used to it now. Grab obviously started with the Grab Pay initially as a wallet, but then moved on to insurance use case as well. And what the idea was that can we give insurance to drivers and delivery partners. That may be a first gap because these guys are not getting sort of insured on their own. So that's the area they started. And then, of course, along with time, they started launching micro insurance product back to back. What it does, and this is a view which I have, is that when we were launching few of these products, I would say more on the lending side. Once you know how to run one product well, the whole life cycle, and you know how to monetize and how do you have the right TG, and you market to the right TG without too much of cost and effort, you can know how to launch the next one and next one and next one. So I think the muscle memory takes over, right? You know what it takes to build those products. So I think that's what we think is happening there. And of course, from a distribution perspective, all insurance would love to work with Grab because of the reach they have, and it gives them a new revenue pool as well. They kept on adding new and new services, so they added passenger trip insurance, which is logical, right? I mean, even in India, you see, I think Ola or Uber, one of them was doing it some time back. I'm forgetting if they do it even now, but I think they were also doing that. Every trip, they will charge you 1 rupee for insurance for that particular trip. So then you have device protection product as well. So a lot of new products, travel insurance, baggage loss. So a lot of newer products that they kept on producing. And of course, what we see is that in my belief that every time you do in one country, right, you can go to, and Grab is across country. So they are going to scale it country to country, and they're doing really well there. In terms of the cost, I think I didn't want to confuse you, but the key point is that while Grab has done that very similarly in a slightly different context, Make My Trip also does tons of insurance embedded to the structure. When you travel, you actually can buy insurance, which is technically embedded one, and it is from a cost perspective, interestingly, is cheaper than even Grab. So, be it a sort of travel insurance at a country level, it's cheaper, and even at the product level, each product level, I think we've seen much cheaper variety available with Make My Trip. So of course, that's how the scale works, that number of Indians traveling is much higher. So you can actually optimize that. We have WeFox again. I think it'll be my sense. It's of course has scaled a lot in Europe, and in terms of what it provides, I think technically, if you look at it, my personal sense is very close to maybe an insurance deco or a renew buy kind of product, where they basically help customers in identifying the right insurers. They also work a lot with brokers and agents so that the distribution is what is solved through this platform. And again, same logic, right? You have people who are selling these products, and the customers want to understand what the products are. So they are basically providing the whole backend for those players. They offer health, they offer life, and they of course health, household contents, and legal protection. So a bunch of products in the market, and each market they're doing really well. I think that I was surprised with the amount of funding they've got, and all kind of products they have end to end. This is specifically for say VFox in Austria and different partners there. They also have from a country to country, each country they have. We are launching this one is for Switzerland. They expanded there and scaled there as well. So uh, I think, as I said, very similar to what our models are, not very unique there to the extent, but I think the way they're scaling up is amazing. The kind of fund they raised is also surprisingly very large. Then we have Cover Genius. I think they bring the back end and technology to the market. They ensure that, and so any the request to all of you who are listening to it, if you have any query, any questions, you please share on the chat box, and I'll come back and respond back to those queries. So Cover Genius is specifically very deep, and of course we have seen some of their products getting launched in India as well. So they basically help any company in becoming a insurance company. So, for example, they provide a cargo or transit insurance. So many platforms like a eBay can actually sell those insurance to the customers slash partners, and they also optimize the claim process. So again, end-to-end journeys on insurance time is what they cater to. Similarly, you have products where, in terms of warranties, they sell the warranties from a Skullcandy to Moved. Incidentally, so basically, every device you have, can you at the time of checkout, can you sell insurance along with it? So that's what they're very good in. And of course, in terms of online travel agencies and airlines and others, they can also share. So one example they had given is that luxury escapes was selling insurance, which is the same product to all. Once they customized and brought it built specifically for each customer, they were able to scale on in terms of revenue and of course the coverage in the market as well. And as I was saying that in India you have Uber partnering with Reliance for again selling insurance per ride, 3 rupees per ride. So I think interesting models where you basically get accident insurance as well. So model wise, what they're doing out there, what we are doing out there is not too different. I think the journey is just that maybe unlike other industry, InsurTech in India took more time to scale up. So scale up is just started, I guess, and maybe next 3 to 5 years we should see a very strong growth. This industry should be at par with at least the lending industry in terms of insurtech and maybe lending tech, as I would say. But as of now, it is much smaller. Hopefully, it should happen in the next maybe few years. Another model which we want to talk about, the parametric model. how parametric models work. But in simplicity, the thought process is that these are all linked to some events, some numbers, some structures in the market. Let's say, for example, if the weather changes and the temperature reaches something like some particular temperature, or maybe there's a excess rainfall or stuff like that. In those cases, the ecosystem would know what has happened. Let's say if there is a hurricane which happens. So any kind of disaster which happens, there's a solution for that, and it automatically kicks in. So the way normally we have a situation where you have to ask for your claim, because suddenly at the time of buying you're a nice guy, but at the time of claiming you are a fraudster, right? That happens in the market. So that's what they're solving for. As and when the for example, in case of extra climate, um, the payouts will take just 3 to 10 days. Earlier it would take a lot of time, because again, you know what has happened, but you would expect somebody to raise that issue with you, that claim. So today, what they're doing is, the brokers and or banks and all of the platforms are able to sell this through APIs, and as and when the incident happens, the disaster happens, or whatever that matrix or parameter is, you automatically get your claim. You don't have to go through the rigor of claiming, which is crucial, right? As I told in the previous session, that I stopped taking travel insurance, at least for the flight delays, is because they would wanted me to claim, and I was not keen to spend my time claiming it, right? So if today the world moves where it is auto claim, because they knew know any which way the when the flight is going to land or is delayed, you might as well solve for it. We have India, ICICI Lombard launching a monsoon insurance policy. It basically, if the rainfall is not sufficient, in it goes down below a level, they will basically make a payment to you to ensure that you get the compensation for it. So I think it's an interesting model. The fact of the matter is, if rain doesn't happen, the yields go down, right? Because of I mean, we need trains, right? I think so. As simple as that. So that's what they are right now solving for. Let me see if there are questions which are there, which I need to respond back. Um, so the question is that, are embedded insurance companies like Echo and Digit are backed by reinsurance companies? So let me put it like, Echo and Digit are not technically embedded insurance companies. These are all manufacturers, which means they are equivalent to ICICI Lombard. They are manufacturers of insurance. They're also distributing that as well, right? So in many cases, they are partnering with others to distribute. So um, are they backed by reinsurance companies? Let me put it differently. Every insurance company tends to offload the risk from their books or their frameworks through third parties. So the way you have co-lending structures or maybe securitization, same structure exists today in the insurance side. So they will work with reinsurance companies and offload some of the risk as well. So I had that fortune of talking to few of these um, these insurance companies, and they were telling that in what cases they actually offload, and in some cases they actually keep on their books as well. It depends on how the companies are configured and tend to work. So let's look at some interesting use cases. And we have players like a Metro Mile or a Route, maybe a just in case. Each one, and Huddle is also interesting, right? So very interesting how somebody can build a local product based on local needs. So let's take a case of Huddle. They have a product called Cover, which basically they have a lot of kangaroos, and that basically covers when your car collides with the kangaroos. There is an add-on insurance which is provided, right? So I think these are all direct, simple. You know what's going to happen. You there's a risk attached only when you're on road in that particular area where kangaroos are there. And I'm assuming that you would not want to hit kangaroo, or you would not want to get hit by a kangaroo. So I think that's how they want to solve for. Um, just in case is a innovative small, a very short term product, which basically rewards when you try to get healthy, you get, and we will talk about more of their products. But again, the similar product is also launched by Aditya Birla as well in India. So we spoke about that in the last Zongen, of course, has a micro premium event-based product. And these are all specific products, right? Train delays, event cancellation, all of that, which are very small ticket micro insurance. I think some point in time in India, Toffee was also doing in partnership with others. I've not tracked it, so I would not know how they are doing right now. But I think very similar kind of business. But Zongen obviously has an insurance product of their own. Zego is more of a pay-as-you-go option. As you use is when you do. So they do a lot of telemetric based insurance, and Metro Mile is a pay per mile. So as much as you drive is as much as you give insurance for. That actually saves you a lot of money, because when the vehicle is actually standing, you don't have to pay for any additional insurance. I think hurdle use cases I mean, some of them are defined here. There are more such use cases out there, and ideas, again, just to give you a flavor of what is happening beyond India. It's just not, so it's just a pointer here, not really a full-fledged discussion, but a pointer here, what kind of products exist today in the market and what you can sort of build for. So on one side, they have products which are for both international and domestic. I mean, from a cruise perspective or adventure pack or a motorcycle, so everything is sort of built for. And again, their backend, they're trying to, as best as possible, to have an instant claim process, so that there's no human touch. You don't add cost to it. Of course, you want it to be authentic. You want to ensure there are no frauds, but you have to ensure that it gets done as well, right? So again, I was talking about the delays which happens on the flight side. Can you ensure that the 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 flyer gets paid, the traveler gets paid instantaneously rather than waiting for a claim to be made to the platform, right? So I think all that is what they are trying to avoid in the market. Similarly, you have more use cases, right? Maybe this is a very interesting or not so, I mean, I would say maybe slightly more, and insurance is always slightly more complicated than it appears. So you have cases where you have groups who can take insurance on cancer, which is where the premium split across each of the group. Then we spoke about walk-in pay, we spoke about it. There's also a case where you go for adventure sports, maybe just once in a year, and you don't want to take that particular additional insurance every other day. You will take only at that point of time. Similarly, you have insurance for simple hospitalization. So small products, very micro products, which actually can help the customers in that particular time point of need. Only when I go for adventure, I would need that insurance. Why would I buy for the year, right? So interesting use cases. Will they be heavily on the money making side? Not really, but I think it can create an engagement layer. And of course, some products are never bought. Those are the edge cases which can now be bought because of these reasons. I think what we'll then move to MENA region. We want to keep it short, maybe 5 to 7 minutes, and then we'll take some queries as well. As I said earlier, if we are doing this India InsurTech Summit, and this is on 17th. So if you are interested in joining, just submit your request and or in the feedback form, and we will issue you a complimentary pass. If you have some friends who would want to join, you will let us know. We will check the profile and then do it again. We would want to ensure that the profiles are validated. We want to ensure that this event has only those. So we want to nurture the ecosystem and get only those who are really interested in learning about insurance to come there. It's in Mumbai, so I think if you are out of Mumbai and you're flying out, it's good. But please do not block generically. These are all precious ones. We have only, I think, at the end, space of 700-800 people is what I think is finally going to be there. And we are almost close to, I think, 450 or 500 right now. So there's still space for maybe 100 odd guys. The rest will come from the other ecosystem as well. So within this ecosystem, looking at maybe 58 to 100 more people onboarding, and that's when we'll pause. It can have pause maybe today or tomorrow, somewhere around that. So, InsurTech in MENA region again is expected to grow. Not a very rapid pace, but 6% CAGR is what the market is expecting. UAE obviously is the dominating market, and within that, you have non-life is more dominant than others. This ecosystem is slightly different from India. Maybe some of the groups may be very rich, and they may not think of insurance as a critical need, right? Um, Again, what are the growth drivers? Very similar to what happened in India. Maybe smartphone penetration, demand for convenience. People don't want to spend. Sometimes I'll be honest that I leave some money on table, but if I have to do it, I will avoid if I can, and go digital if I have to pay more. I think I was in interestingly, I was in a mall, I think yesterday or day for yesterday, and I bought a movie ticket for my kids. Actually, on the same floor, I did not walk to the counter and paid some that premium. So I think people are used to that space. We didn't want to connect and speak. And then, of course, there's government initiatives which is supporting, and then there's a lot of money which is getting in. So I think all in all, the market is up and for scale up. There are the way you have the Grab, you have Kareem there, which is a Uber subsidiary. I think they were earlier competing with Uber. They have been taken over. So you have multiple. I think you have Milvik, which is again, as you also may be hearing them as Bima, again very focused on certain ecosystems. So you see a lot of embedded finance, insurance happening, a lot of AI related stuff happening there. Micro insurance growing, and each of these players in an early stage. So I don't think we are at a very mature stage even in this market, but it's in a journey in progress. What are the products which, let's say, Bezat is doing? They're providing a group health insurance, employee benefits. So I think a lot to do with maybe MSMEs and corporates, how they can offer them group insurance, how can they provide employee benefits. In India, obviously, we have people like Onsurity or Plum doing it. It's very similar products, but of course, we find it useful in India. I'm sure they must be finding good business here, and they're fairly well funded as well. They're also getting into the motor insurance as well, and offering new services there. So with this, I think I'll pause. Maybe I'll take some questions. Let me see if I can see something out here. And please do share your feedback. We'll be happy to have you on board it, yeah, as well, right? I think this topic is slightly more complicated, so and very little to ask. But if there is any, didn't see anything. Any questions? I think we saw only Deepika's question, which I responded to. Um, I think framework wise, I'm just saying that if you're looking at entering an ecosystem, I think insurance is a good ecosystem to enter. Ideally, the you should get in. If you're a lot of capital and you can get an insurance license, of course, manufacturing is the way. But otherwise, I think distribution-wise, you can enter, or if you have access to certain ecosystem, you can do that, or you can actually build tech stacks for that. I believe that unlike a stable or a new age LMS, LOS, core banking switches, payment switches, we don't have that much of equivalency in the insurance business. So, which may happen next maybe 5 to 10 years. So, you can be a player who will actually go and build those ecosystem and scale up. We ourselves are very, very keen to work with the ecosystem as well, because very little has happened, and we believe that our event, our reports, and of course, if some of them get into real output, some action can take this industry to the same level as lending. So with this, I pause and sort of conclude here. Thank you for your patience here. I'm so happy to see you, all of you here. Thank you, guys. Thanks, Anand. I think meeting you after a long, long time. I think a lot of friends here, Chidru. Thank you, Chidru. Thank you, everyone, for joining, and we'll be back again. Maybe I think a week down line we have more sessions. But if you have some queries, please do reach out to us, and we'll try to see if we can respond back. Thank you. Thank you.